Hey guys, I'm out at the range today with one of my grail guns, something which I've wanted for a very long time, and I finally have it, or something fairly close to it. This AR pretty closely approximates a DPMS RFA2-KIT Kat, one of the silliest factory AR configurations ever sold. DPMS Panther Arms was a big name in AR-15s for a number of years before they got caught up in the whole Remington Cerberus Group fiasco that took out damn near half the whole industry a few years back. DPMS had a number of military contracts, and they also sold a wide variety of ARs on the civilian and law enforcement market. One of those that caught my eye when I was younger is the ludicrously short-barreled Kitty Kat. DPMS sold the Kitty Kat in several configurations over the years, but common to all of them is the extremely short 7-inch barrel chambered in 5.56, which gives these things a very limited effective range. But they were predominantly intended for use as a CQB weapon by SWAT entry teams, so the limited terminal performance isn't all that important when you're just talking about across-the-room distances. The Kitty Kat is a very compact, maneuverable weapon, and it's almost exactly the same overall length as an MP5, but compared to 9mm, 5.56, even out of a short barrel, is going to have a little bit more terminal performance, as well as the ability to penetrate certain types of soft body armor, which would make it very appealing for a SWAT team, perhaps going after some barricaded suspects. It's also short enough and light enough that you could fire it one-handed, perhaps in conjunction with a ballistic shield. I don't know how popular these were with SWAT teams. I'm sure quite a lot of them got purchased, but I don't know if any of them were ever actually used. The Kitty Kat was sold to law enforcement agencies as an SBR and even sometimes as a machine gun, and I suspect a lot of them were purchased by unit armorers who thought it would be a fun way to burn up some extra ammo at the end of a training session. As far as civilian sales go, I feel like a factory Kitty Kat SBR would be a hard sale even 15 years ago before the pistol brace had been invented. Still, the Kitty Kat definitely did well enough to stick around for a number of years and several different configurations. This gun, or rather this upper, is pretty close to a DPMS RFA2-KIT Kat. It's not a real DPMS upper. As far as I know, it's just somebody's pretty close approximation of one. DPMS sold these things in several configurations using their usual model name prefix RFA. They had the RFA1, the RFA2, and the RFA3. To me, the iconic version of the Kitty Kat will always be the RFA1. That's the one using the A1 or C7 style fixed carry handle upper. The RFA2 used the A2 style carry handle upper, very similar to this build, that has the adjustable rear sight, more like an A2. The RFA3 is the flat top version. I'm not sure if DPMS was the only manufacturer doing that, but I think they are partially responsible for a lot of misinformation posted to ARFCOM over the years. There are still some older dudes who think an A3 just refers to a flat top AR in general. They all had a 7.5-inch barrel with a very heavy profile towards the rear, and for a long time they also all had a fixed front sight base and a free float aluminum tube handguard. This one is not a real DPMS handguard, as far as I can tell. It has all these holes drilled through it, and I've never seen a picture of a real DPMS that had those holes. They were still very similar, a free float aluminum tube with some relief cuts in it. Right before the Cerberus Group went to the bottom of the ocean and almost took the whole industry down for the ride, DPMS was making a modernized version of the Kitty Kat that had a normal free float or quad rail style handguard married to a flat top upper. And if the idea of the Kitty Kat appeals to you, there's really nothing stopping you from making a 7-inch upper of your own. That's actually one of the first ARs that I ever built, a ludicrously impractical 7.5-inch barreled AR with a modern style free float rail. But the proper Kitty Kat is always going to be much cooler, and of course the best version is with the original C7 or A1 style upper. There's very little reason to have the adjustable target sights of an A2 style carry handle on a gun with a 7.5-inch barrel. One of these would also be an excellent candidate for a gooseneck optics mount, just because of how little space you've got to work with. If the classic look of the DPMS Kitty Kat with the front sight-based barrel appeals to you, you can still buy 7.5-inch barrels with pinned FSBs and roll your own. You can also occasionally find a DPMS Kitty Kat clone from Double Star Arms, although that is a flat-top version. And because Palmetto State Armory now owns the DPMS Panther Arms brand, as well as Nodak Spud, the company that produces clone-correct retro AR receivers and furniture, there's a very good chance we could actually see a legit DPMS RFA1-KIT with DPMS Panther Arms branding on it coming from Palmetto State Armory within the next couple of years. That's something I'm pretty excited about. So I know you're all thinking that, yeah, that's a fine meme, but how does this thing actually shoot? Not great, of course. This thing is very punchy because we're trying to do quite a lot of work with a very short amount of dwell time and barrel length. I did put a Strike Industries sale comp on there because I wanted to maximize the douchebaggery potential of this gun. Even without an aggressive comp, this thing is still incredibly loud and not something you want to take to an indoor range or really be around at all. Good grief. The sail comp does help mitigate recoil by directing all of it into your teeth, which doesn't feel very good, and after shooting this thing about 5 times, it will completely clear your sinuses out just from the overpressure wave. This is probably going to be the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, I can hear it in my teeth. That's something. If you were going to make a modernized Kitty Kat, first of all, you probably wouldn't, but second of all, you probably would go with 300 Blackout, because that's a much better cartridge when we're talking about barrel lengths under 10 inches. Also, finding a suppressor that's rated for use on a 5.56 barrel of under 10 inches can be a little bit difficult. I think most people decided that 10 inches was about as short as they ever wanted to go with 5.56, not just because of the noise and blast, but also because of increased terminal performance. If you're on a SWAT team and you have access to public money and fully automatic guns, then why not just get an FNP 90 or an HK MP7? Thanks for watching, guys. I know I have very strange taste in old guns that a lot of people don't understand, because I don't have the appropriate reverence for the classics and I don't really have any interest in the weird hipster experiments, but I like guns like this. Guns that tried their best. I don't think there are a lot of fond memories out there of the Kitty Kat, because there aren't that many memories out there about it at all. Hard to find information about it on the internet, because it was, even in its heyday, an extremely niche firearm, really only appealing if you had an SOT or you were a SWAT team entryman who just got sick and tired of the MP5, which, hey, I've been there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time. You're such a jerk.